that's enough of that. What am I going to do now? Play the crap out of Xenoverse. I can watch one of the movies, that's not a bad idea. But which one should I watch? There's so many good ones. I wonder which one's the best. Got an idea. Hello there, my name's Gears of the Dead, and this is my top 7 Dragon Ball Z movies. Normally for my top 10 videos I put rules for it, but since this is all the same franchise, I'm not going to really put any rules. So let's just roll right into the video. One more thing before we get into the video, history of Trunks and Bardock, the father of Goku, will not be on this list because they're more specials than they are movies, and this is a movie list, but I do love them. So you can know that I love them. Alright, into the video. Now for this video, I had to watch some Dragon Ball Z movies that I haven't seen yet. And since I brought that up, you can kinda guess that Tree of Might was one of them. Now going into this movie, I knew almost nothing. All I knew was there was a guy named Turles, and he looked like Goku. That's it. So I went into this movie with an open mind, and I loved it. It's honestly pretty short, the henchmen are very forgettable, and Turles just feels like a cop-out of a good character design. It's like they were all coming up with ideas and they're like, screw it, let's make him look like Goku. But something about this movie just makes me love it. Maybe it's seeing a character that's pretty much an evil version of Goku, or the fact that this movie is totally a protect the environment movie. Seriously, the tree's burned down, so the gang thinks it's a great idea to go get the Dragon Balls and wish it back. Sometimes you gotta read between the lines to see the big picture. There's honestly nothing really special about this movie, but when I was writing the script for this video, it was one of the more memorable movies I could think of. The idea of something evil sucking the life force out of the planet really isn't original. It's been done before, but the way they executed it really worked well, and it was just, I don't know, fantastic. Like, I don't know, but I just kind of really like this movie, so I think it definitely deserves the 7th place. At least, that's what I think. Okay, for those of you who don't know, the Dragon Ball Z movies are actually all uncanon, until like the newer ones that just came out. Now, the reason why I brought this up is the Wrath of the Dragon is probably the most uncanon of them all. Before you start to wonder why I put this movie on the list if I sound like I hate it, I actually do really like this movie. It's just one of those DBZ movies that I won't try to argue about if it's canon or not. This movie introduces a new character whose name kind of escapes me, so for now I'll call him Totally Not the Villain. It seems to fit. But Totally Not the Villain warns Gohan and Videl about an evil creature that's head for Earth. As he puts it, it seems the creature's the most evil, most cynical, most destructive. Oh my god, its legs! The only way to stop it is to open up a mystical, magical box with a hero named Tapion sealed inside. But Tapion has been sealed inside the box for some unknown reason, so the gang needs to figure out how to unseal the box using the most scientific and legitimate ways they can think of, and not just go look for the Dragon Balls. They wish the box open, and kind of here's where the main story starts, so I'd rather not spoil it, because you can see I like this movie. I want you to go see it, so I'm not going to spoil a thing. But what I will say is that it's a very good movie, a good one to watch, and you should watch it. Or another movie on this list. I don't care. You do you. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm your friend here. Next. Hey look, a Dragon Ball Z movie where Goku doesn't fight. That's actually something uncommon. Huh. I honestly think this movie was made in the time where they were going to make Gohan the ultimate fighter, because in this movie, he's an invincible badass. But before I get ahead of myself, let's talk about the movie. It starts off with a massive tournament being held for a young man's birthday. The kid wants to see real-life aliens fighting against the strongest fighters on Earth, aka Hercule as the whole world sees it. But something goes wrong, and the friendly aliens meant to take place in the tournament go missing, and other evil aliens / demons, they never really specify, take their place. So it's up to Gohan and the other living Z-Warriors to take care of them. What this movie has that some other DBZ movies don't are really great fighting scenes, like really good ones. But not only that, they have some good silly scenes, really cool moments, and moments that where your heart just stops. Well, maybe not that dramatic, but it's really up there. It's really far up there. I like it a lot. There's a lot to this movie, and for now, all I'll say is that if you haven't seen this movie and you're a DBZ fan, you should watch it. Just like every other movie on this list. 'Cause it's good. I promise. So the Lord Slug movie does a lot wrong, but also does a lot more right. The first big thing wrong with this movie is that its plot is copy and paste of the King Piccolo arc from the original Dragon Ball series. Which isn't bad. I mean, they make the plot their own, and in a way, it's still very, very nice. I mean, I honestly really love this movie. But you can still spot it from a mile away and be like, ha ha ha, oh, that's King Piccolo's arc. But besides that, the enemies really weren't memorable, and some of the powers and ideas of this movie just felt like they were just made up on the spot. But it does do some things right. It brought around the false Super Saiyan, which is kind of really cool. Also, the hilarious fact that apparently Namekians can't stand whistling. And it also brought Lord Slug himself. I honestly really like him as a villain. I don't know, I just like him. There's not really much else to say about this movie because there's not really much to it, really. At least in my opinion. It's a freaking fantastic movie. And it's a fun one to watch. I know I didn't say much about this movie, but I just like it. You can just say that I put it on this list for the plain old reason of why the hell not? It's a good movie. Now imagine, if you will, a world where the rules of heaven and hell are broken, and now the Walking Dead walk through the streets. Now imagine those zombies can think, speak, and have their memories from when they were alive. Now you may be thinking, man, that's definitely a movie I want to see, and you're right, because it's Fusion Reborn. Now originally when I was writing the script, I made this movie a lot lower on the list, but after watching it again for this video, I realized it's actually really good. It's got a lot of Dragon Ball Z feels. And by that I mean it's got a lot of traits that would be in Dragon Ball Z. It's got the silly comical scenes that would be in the show, as well as the intense fighting scenes that would make you sit at the edge of your seat waiting to see what would happen. And pretty much this whole movie just felt like an arc of the series in a way. While there are some fantastic Dragon Ball Z movies, not all of them feel like they would fit the show, which isn't bad. But for me, the movies felt like an extension of the show. So I would want to see the movie that most feels like the show, which this movie did. It's a movie where Goku's fighting an unknown being with incredible strength, and has the power to mess with God's domain. And with this villain Janempa being this strong and unknown character, it just makes Goku want to fight him even more. Goku loves a good fight, and seeing someone who's strong and can put up that good fight just makes him as excited as a kid in the back of FYE. What does that mean? What does that mean? Who? Oh, because there's porn back there. Now, while on Earth, the dead are coming back to life, so Gohan and the crew are doing their best to keep them at bay. Also, Trunks and Goten are fighting Hitler and his army of zombie Nazis. That's honestly a sentence I never thought I'd have to say that has to do with Dragon Ball Z. But the way they fight off the living dead in such a silly way just makes the movie feel even more like the show. There's everything you'd want in this movie. Zombies, fighting, explosions, flying, energy balls, corny but still hilarious jokes, the birth of the fan-favorite fusion, and much more. So this movie has to have one of the best anime soundtracks I've heard, at least for a westernized version of the soundtrack. By that I mean like Pokemon and Digimon movies, how they added western music to the movie instead of the original Japanese. But whatever to that, this movie is freaking intense. The fighting in this movie is seriously the most intense stuff I've seen come out of the Dragon Ball Z series, as well as one of the coolest villains. Like seriously, probably got 3 movies, is a character in most of the Dragon Ball Z video games, and probably one of the more brutal villains in the series. Not only does this movie show the evil in people's hearts by tricking the Z Warriors into coming to a fake planet Vegeta to get them killed, but as well as taking people away from their planet and turning them into slaves. It wasn't a big part of the movie, but seeing the enslaved aliens just being whipped and being worked to the bone without being fed kind of triggers something in the guys. But then Broly goes all apeshit and destroys that side of the plot, so we don't need to care about that anymore. This is honestly the best Dragon Ball Z movie there is. The fighting, the animation, the silly hijinks, just really one of the best films in the series. At least that's what I used to think, until I saw number 1. Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods is one of the more recent movies. A lot of people wanted something new from the series, and this movie gave it to them. Like some of the other movies I talked about, it has a lot of what made the series what it is. But the difference between this movie and the others is that this movie actually feels like a new addition to the show and not the movies. It's actually picking up right where the show left off. It's making a new ending to the one that many fans don't really want to acknowledge, that being Dragon Ball GT. The feeling of ease that the characters have in the beginning of the movie, just hanging out and having a party, the silliness of Emperor Pilaf coming back, like holy crap! Emperor Pilaf is back! That's amazing! But then we learn of a new villain, someone who's stronger than Goku, and not only that, but a god of destruction. A character who isn't only strong, but makes the Kais freak out to the point where they had to make sure Goku and the god of destruction Beerus never meet. So Goku wouldn't want to fight him and have the earth and everything around it destroyed. But of course it doesn't happen, and on their first encounter, Goku spars with Beerus and loses in his Super Saiyan 3 form, and without Beerus having really anything to do with the battle, just flicking him. That feeling you get seeing Goku lying in a crater is just awful. Goku lost, and without really any hassle to his opponent. But as time goes on, he figures out how to become a Super Saiyan God, and fights Beerus again, on the same power level. Now things start to get more intense like the Broly movies, except in this movie, it feels like more is on the line. Because if Goku loses, the Earth gets destroyed. A lot is riding on Goku's victory, but Beerus doesn't hold back. So it's two gods battling it out. It's an amazing movie that definitely has the right to be the best Dragon Ball Z movie. But what do I know? I'm just a fan. The new Dragon Ball Z movies that are coming out soon might be even better, but only time can tell. So for now, all I have to say is thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys have a great one. Thanks a lot. Well, hey there, did you enjoy the video? Well, if you did, why don't you go and hit that like button, and also subscribe so you know whenever a new video comes out. If you like this top 7, why don't you watch my last one, the original ones that I did. My top 7 Dragon Ball Z references. It's the redone one, because it looked a little better than the original, but I'll have a link to the original in the description as well if you want to watch that. But if you like video games, then why don't you go over to my gaming channel where me and my friend Guitarist go and play video games. There's 2 links right there, one for Dragon Ball Xenoverse and another for Akiba's Trip. Very good, good fun times there. I suggest you watch them if you want a good laugh. Thank you again for watching, and you guys have a great day.